Blame Truth here, the Codfather himself, bringing you another video. In yesterday's commentary, I covered how Sledgehammer Games has kind of been wronged, and they simply can't be happy. I talked to an insider who does have confirmed contact with Sledgehammer Games, and they revealed that a lot of the rumors surrounding their development cycles and what they've done as a development studio have been misconstrued, or they're just flat out wrong. And if you missed that video, I'd really recommend checking it out. It's very interesting. I also cover some, I guess, conspiracy theory stuff. Not even that, but like, I had to wonder, why are they covering skill-based matchmaking or talking about matchmaking now? Like, what's happened to make them talk about it after 4 to 5 years of complete silence? It doesn't make sense. And I kind of predicted that maybe Sledgehammer is just sick of Activision and Infinity Ward basically ruining their life. And they could blow the lid off of skill-based matchmaking and maybe not even be punished for it. Speaking of punished, this man on my left here is going to jump right off the roof. Why? I don't know. Maybe he realized what game he was actually playing, and he decided just to end it all because, man, this game sucks. I do have sympathy for Sledgehammer, but this game is not very good. Even if you took out skill-based matchmaking, it's just not a very good game, and I am very sorry. I mean, the amount of things you get stuck on, like why do these little, I don't know, ridges on the roof need to be here? Don't tout realism again. I have a hollow woodman, a big-tittied midget hip-hop artist, giant rats, giant beef jerky men, giant marijuana leaves. There's no realism. So yeah, like, get rid of this clutter, man. All this movement does no good when every 10 feet I get stuck on something. I get stuck like on a potato chip on the ground or a painting on the wall. The Mona Lisa, but it's not even the Mona Lisa. It's just Joe Sackott in drag. Speaking of Joe Sackott, we're actually going to do a little bit of investigating on him a little later on. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, like, even if you take out a lot of this stuff in the game behind the scenes, it's not very polished. It's not very good. There's a lot of work to still be done. But I want to cover this comment I got on yesterday's video because this comment really sheds some light on everything I covered yesterday, adds some validity to the claims, and overall it's just a very interesting read. So without further ado, let's get right on into the motherfucking meat and potatoes, shall we? So I got this comment this morning, and this person actually claims to be an not dev, but ex-employee, employed to the anti-cheat division for Sledgehammer Games. Get a load of this, guys. They say, I love Sledgehammer Games. They've been my favorite studio for a long time. I loved Dead Space, so when Michael and Glenn formed Sledgehammer Games and joined the COD table to make games for Activision, I was beyond excited. The fact that Michael and Glenn left Visceral Games because they were treated like shit to do their own thing and have been treated like shit again by IW and Activision makes me like them even more, but it pisses me off. I was devastated when they had to make yet another World War II game because everyone knew the community was going to hate it. That's why I joined their team to work on the anti-cheat operations for Vanguard. I fell in love with Vanguard because I saw everything that Sledgehammer did to make the game for the community. It was the last game with clan support and a solid team play build that invited players to join squads. Since then, it's been impossible to join squads, and there isn't a single thing in MW2 and MW3 that is clan friendly. Almost as if Infinity Ward doesn't want players to team up to keep little Timmy safe. In Vanguard, you could also level up your operators and even get the gold and diamond operator skins. Also, you could preview your executions and finishing moves. I know people were turned off by the World War II aspect of the game, but that game was deeply full, inside and out, with content that you could grind for. Even anything as simple as giving each operator their own specific weapon, that if you used that weapon during gameplay, you were granted double player and weapon XP, and given extra benefits for your operator. Admittedly, that was pretty cool. They had calling card frames and even player titles that would be displayed on your calling card. And every single time you killed someone or were killed by someone, your calling card was displayed or theirs would be displayed. It wasn't just stupid red text saying killed by Hobo Sock 21. It literally showed killed Mr. Gigglepuffs, the executioner, with a sick flaming chain calling card frame that you had to earn by being in a clan and winning games while playing with your clan. Now, unfortunately, they are stuck under the thumb of IW, say they had to make clone an IW game that they literally weren't even allowed to add clan support for and promote team play at all. IW fired, whoa, most of Sledgehammer's staff, including the entire anti-cheat team, when Modern Warfare 2 released in order to implement IW's AI-based anti-cheat that absolutely does nothing but favors cheaters and report spammers. I can't stand Infinity Ward and was given a huge FU for being good when our team got canned. Their entire team is full of woke social justice warriors who hate guns to begin with. They are so anti-American, anti-2A, anti-1A, I think we know what that means, hate the Constitution, most of the employees hate COD period, and everything that it stands for, and they jump in line, bending at the knee with anything to do with the woke agenda coming from the ultra-far-left cult. To bring political agenda of any kind into the workspace, especially into a video game and the development studios, is absolutely disgusting. I agree. IW was thick with it, and I would have been just as upset if they pushed a far-right narrative. Agreed. It doesn't belong in video games, period. That's all I have to say for now. However, I could go on for hours as to why I know for a fact that IW is purposely trying to destroy Call of Duty. They desperately want to move on to a new video game so they can push their views onto their customers. Wow, that is a spicy meatball right there. Now, I do want to say, take this with a grain of salt. I cannot prove this person's identity, but that's written with so much passion and it's so long. I'm gonna be inclined to believe it. It goes with the narrative that I was kind of guessing would be the case, that people that worked at Sledgehammer or currently work at Sledgehammer simply cannot be happy. It's not a stretch to say that. It's common sense. And if this guy got canned by Infinity Ward, I mean, you know, it stands for good reason why he'd be so salty and leaving such a long comment based on that. Now, here's the thing. I'm actually going to go a step further to validate this person's claims. We're going to check out Joe Seccot's Twitter. This is the wrong one, but it's pretty funny. I found a fake Joe Seccot Twitter, and it's hilarious. Anyway, let's get back to the video here. I'm gonna go over his Twitter in just a second. His real Twitter, I mean, and it's gonna be a little difficult because he's actually deleted all of his tweets. So we're gonna have to go to his likes and do some investigating. It's a little bit creepy. I kind of feel like an ex-girlfriend stalking or something, but I gotta do what I gotta do. And speaking of that, I am stuck! I am stuck on a giant red A or something. I think that's what it was. Was that even a letter? Or was it just some... What is it? Let me see. It's just some giant upside down vagina or something. Anyway, let me get back to the main topic here before I get into Joe Seccot's Twitter. I want to kind of just reflect on that comment. So... this person's very passionate about working with Sledgehammer Games, and he brings up all these good points. Like, Vanguard, for as little time as it got, for as glitchy and as buggy as it was, and man, let me tell you, I did not like Vanguard. I hated it, but I didn't hate it for, like, those reasons. I thought those things he mentioned were a nice touch, admittedly. Like, I think with the time allotted, now knowing they only got 8 months... I don't hate it as much. In fact, I kind of respect that they managed to get something halfway decent out. You know, halfway playable out in that amount of time, because that is just not enough time for a AAA game. It just isn't. You know, it was a stitched together mess, and they somehow, some way made it somewhat playable. So for that, I commend them. The game still sucks, but I do respect it a lot more. I respected what they tried to do with it. If Sledgehammer just got the time, like several years, 3 years, 3,000 devs worth of time maybe, to polish a game like Modern Warfare III here, I think that it would be very good. I truly do, because this game right now truly just lacks polish. Yeah, that's the main issue. It lacks polish, it lacks its own identity. But yeah, this person's obviously very, very passionate about Sledgehammer and is sticking up for them. Let's see if their claims are actually true by looking at the lead multiplayer design director's tweets here, or like tweets, or whatever. But I do want to show you guys this. This is a blast from the past, and I remember when this came out, and it was it was hilarious, but it was also infuriating. Let's just cover this. Both of these tweets have been deleted now. However, they still exist in screenshot form. Let's check them out. A little context for you here to kind of explain what you're going to read. A lot of the community was very, very upset with how Modern Warfare 2019 played. They doubled down on these slow, campy, safe space mechanics like no red dots on the minimap, no dead silence, indestructible doors, yada yada. And a lot of people were unhappy, and there was a rumor going around that there would be this big overhaul to address community complaints. Ashton Williams up there on the 20th of November, she was the communications manager for Infinity Ward at the time. After this, ironically, she would stop speaking altogether because of the backlash she got, because she was thrown under the bus by Joe Secott down there. So she says, finalizing notes for the big update, quote unquote, the big update you all keep asking about. Notes are a little over 2 pages long. Lots of good stuff in here. This looks like a big update overhaul. This is what the community's referencing when they talk about this big update. They wanted the game to play like basically Modern Warfare 3 here, you know? They wanted it to be more fast-paced, red dots on the minimap, traditional Call of Duty rules and logic. Joe Secott comes out on the 1st of December saying the overhaul was a fake statement to get attention. We are constantly updating the game at least once a week, sometimes twice. Season 1 incoming. Also, bye. After Joseph here tweeted this, Ashton Williams would then get so much backlash, and him too, deservedly so, because there's clearly an issue with communication here. There's clearly a problem with their communication internally at Infinity Ward. We were duped, we were lied to, and the community does not appreciate that. But both of these guys got so much hate that Ashton Williams just pretty much stopped communicating altogether, and then she became kind of a meme here, Ashton the Mime Williams, the bitch don't speak. And then Joseph there just decided to delete his tweets several months later, I believe the timeline goes. Could be wrong there, but either way, he deleted pretty much all of his tweets. This just kind of shows the kind of person he is. Don't think he's a very nice person. Don't think he's a very nice guy. Kind of a dick move. And yeah, the stubbornness by these devs. I mean, it can't be any more clear what the Call of Duty player base wants in a game. The fact that Modern Warfare 3 was even made is a direct, solution to the fact that Infinity Ward is so stubborn and will double down on these awful, awful mechanics that only the worst of the worst players like. And granted, maybe that's just what they want. Maybe they want to get just a bunch of morons to play their game, and that's it. But it's discrimination. It's discrimination, just like skill-based matchmaking is. It's discrimination against good players. You cannot alienate those players. You gotta have everybody fed, you know? And this just ain't it. This just ain't it. Why they've overcomplicated it to the point of adding all this other crap when Black Ops 2 is beloved by everyone, bad players and good players alike. It sold fantastically, reviewed very well. It didn't have any of this garbage. And it was fantastic, you know? Simpler times. Anyway, let's keep going with his Twitter here. Let's see if that, far left agenda thing is actually true, and let's see if that whole they want to sabotage Call of Duty, they don't like Call of Duty, they don't like the Call of Duty community thing is true. Check this out. This one right here is a classic. True Game Data was covering some of the attachments for Modern Warfare 2 back in May 2023. And he says, I think the devs are trying to send COD Twitter a message. One of the barrels on the new FTAC Siege is just called STFU. Joe Secott liked this tweet, pretty much insinuating that, yeah, that's what they were trying to do. They were trying to give a big middle finger to the people that pay their bills, essentially. Very nice, very nice. It gets worse, though. It gets worse. This is a tweet that Joe Secott liked pertaining to the Nick Mercs situation. If you guys don't recall that, Nick Mercs said some stuff that truthfully I don't think was that bad. I think it was really blown out of proportion, but at the same time, he knows who he's working with Activision. He knows that they're super, super woke or whatever. So kind of on him at the same time. But he ended up liking this tweet, which is pretty much in support of Nick Mercs getting canned, canceled, whatever, and his operator bundle being removed from Call of Duty. And yeah, What a mess that was, man. What a mess that was when that happened. But wait, there's more. My man got caught in 4K liking a President Biden tweet. Okay, well, I'm gonna just choose to believe. I'm just gonna choose to believe that the person is who they say they are in the comment section there, because yeah, some pretty good things backing that up. Some pretty good things backing that up. This is such an interesting, I don't know, this is such an interesting development, especially considering that Call of Duty is just so boring right now. I mean, I have a lot of videos to make and a lot of entertaining stuff to share with you guys, and it's so funny to me, like if I actually go to the Steam player base, which I'm gonna keep covering because it keeps dipping, keeps dropping, but yeah, some of my videos get more views than the entire Steam concurrent peak player base on any given day right now, and that's for Modern Warfare 3, Modern Warfare 2, and Warzone combined, and campaign and zombies and all that, really. So that's not even a brag. It's just, and it's so sad. I want this game to be really good. I do. Season 1 actually is looking pretty good. You know, Sledgehammer is bringing us a lot of content, and it looks like they're listening to us, and they're trying to fix a lot of the problems with the game. So I truthfully am pulling for them. I really want Sledgehammer to blow my socks off here, but it's just like they're not getting a fair shake at it. Not only that, but I want them to address skill-based matchmaking. I want them to just be able to tweak it. Like, give them full control for once. Like, who's with me on that, man? Give these guys full control and let them blow our socks off. They got to be seeing the player numbers drop, and it just can't be, like, it's got to be demoralizing. It can't be a good feeling there. And it's not even their fault. I really don't think it's their fault. Like, I am 100% on their side right now, and I am pulling for them. And I mean that from the heart. You guys know I'm critical. I'm overly critical. I'm Gordon Ramsay up here. But at the end of the day, Gordon Ramsay just wants some good food. I just want a good COD. And the chefs, the quote-unquote chefs, aren't getting a fair shake at it, and it needs to stop. It needs to stop. Guys, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Try to keep politics out of it. I don't really like that here. I would advise, if you want a good life, stay right in the middle and, you know, pick and choose which way you want to lean depending on the circumstance. Don't join these weird cultists. They're all just a bunch of morons. You'll end up malding on Twitter at 40 years old, tweeting like 25 times a day. It's not good, you know. Stay neutral, stay cool. I'll catch you guys on the next one. And by the way, to the guy that left that comment, give me a part 2, please. I am dying to see more, to hear more. Leave a comment. I would love to read it. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Rate, comment, and subscribe. Peace out.
Some parting advice?